Hey, what's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gen. Got some very important updates for you both on the state of the market and some pretty hefty updates in our airdrops and sort of what I want you guys to be aware of, how things have changed, especially in the last few months, because there has been a massive pivot in the way you can earn some of these high value or high ticketed airdrops. So without ado, let's get into it. As always, make sure you follow me on Twitter, where I am doing these live now as well. Also, make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. You can follow my wallet on the bank, and you've got another 8 days if you want to join the Web3 Secret Society at the lowered price. Links to everything I show is in the description below. Now, I know a lot of people are sort of thinking, hey, you know what? We are at this stage where the market is all bullish, right? And I think I saw a very good take yesterday talking really about 3 different archetypes of people who typically will come and invest, right? So you've got the people who are always bullish. So, you know, those people are the second best type of people. And the reason for that is they capture all the upside. So when the market is on, they capture all the upside move. Unfortunately, they get affected by every downside move because they refuse to flip. And so all the upside they get, all the downside they get taken against them. But the nice thing is markets are inflationary. So overall, if you look kind of summary of how the moves typically go, if you're looking at good assets, they capture more than they lose. So they're winners. There are people who are bears. Now the bears, they're bearish on all the uptrends, so they lose. They're bearish on all the downtrends, so they win. But because the market's inflationary, they are net losers. Like a lot of people have been celebrating, talking about, yeah, man, I told you Ethereum is going to go down. I told you the market's going to go down. These are the same idiots who've been shorting since 30,000, saying that it was a bull trap. You know, Bitcoin at 30,000 is a bull trap. Shorting every 5 seconds, and that's horrible too. So obviously, if you can pick between what you're inclined to be, whether it's a bull or a bear, being a bull is way more profitable. That being said, if you are able to thread the needle, and by that, I don't mean you're perfect. I don't mean that you capture all the bull moves, you capture all the bearish moves, but you understand market structure. And I'll be honest with you, this is something that I'm not perfect at. So this is why I go to experts who focus heavily on market structure. And that way, whenever something is not right, like whenever we're in a bearish structure, that's when I'm more bearish. That being said, I'm bullish long term, so I hold my core set of assets. So if you follow my wallet on the bank, you would know that I still am long. I mean, obviously this is one of many wallets, but I'm still long in the market. That being said, we take a look at base, and you can notice here I got like $81,000 in stablecoin, liquidating a bunch of ETH on this wallet. Why? Well, I'm going to sort of explain that to you in a second. So I thought this was a very good tweet by Fajo. He basically says, some advice here for people trying to buy the dip. When you get like massive liquidations, a couple things happen, right? So you have sort of the V-shaped reversal. We saw this happen with the pandemic. Only really happens in a perpetual driven cascade due to high funding rates and structurally bullish trend. However, if you break that bullish trend, no longer really applies. So here, during major wipeouts, you see the main move down, right? So if you think back to what we saw, and I'll show you a chart in a second, but we saw Ethereum, for example, it's the best example I have on this. Very profound, right? Lost 3K or lost 3,200, went all the way to 2,100, 2,130 or whatever, massive liquidation wick. Then it comes up about, in this case, 40%, around 30 to 40% from wherever that bottom wick was. Then you get that small bounce, right? So what happens, right, is market makers don't want anyone to make money in leverage. So what they'll always do is they want to shake out the people who are shorting. Then they want to shake out the people who are longing on both sides every single time. Because if it was ever easy, people could just do it. So they don't want people to make money off them. So they literally will try to throw you off in every way possible. They don't want people on massive leverage doing anything because then they lose money, right? So basically, you have sort of this sort of bounce, the shorts are covering, then you chop. So that's what's been going on, right? You've probably noticed, I'm going to use Ethereum to sort of use my point here, but Ethereum has technically, I'm just going to bring this over here. Ethereum has technically, bounced up and down for the last, few days. Like, let's just go back here. We got that liquidation wick, right? All the way down here. It should be 2100. CoinMarketCap not very good at showing this, but you see that it's basically went up to 2800 and we sort of chop sideways. But I hope you notice that we're getting lower highs, right? We are continuing to sort of come down. The idea that we're likely going to retest that 2100 range. Now, I want you guys to know something. I don't get any pleasure. Talking about this thing that's going to happen, right? Because I've got a ton of Ethereum still, and I keep selling some Ethereum to sort of reduce my exposure, but also, I'm going to show you a chart with my plan, right? I shared this with the Web Society a couple days ago to make sure they were on top of things. So typically in these moves, just like we saw in August, we're going to see a retest of the bottom wick. Now you're going to hear a lot of people come in here and go, no, Brown Gent's a fudder, Brown Gent's an idiot, he's not bullish, he's a bear. Not true at all. The reality is these people are max bullish. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to be like those people. Not that I would be vocal about things like this, but if for example, like, I don't know, like, let's say, you're dating a girl and she cheats on you, like, you want to believe that she didn't cheat. That's just what you're going to want to believe. Like, so if she gives you a reason, you're going to be like, yeah, I believe that. And you're going to try to dismiss the facts. You got to sort of take yourself out of it. How would you act if you are a third party? Do the same thing for Ethereum. Do the same thing for any of your bags. If I wasn't invested, what would I think? Don't go with what do I hope happens. Go with what do I really believe, right? To this out. A lot of people dismiss it because, possibility that this is just a major scam liquidation. And guess what? In that case, we're going to regain the 3,200, 3,300 level, but it's all a game of probability. So you want to make sure that you're betting with the probabilities on your side, not just having weird hopium and saying, okay, this is going to come. Because let me tell you something, in August, I tuned out all the noise saying that we were going to liquidate back to 2,100. What did I do? I was buying a bunch of 21, 22 after the liquidation with the Japanese carry trade. And then what happened was I wasn't selling on the bounce. No, I was in Greece and I was like, oh, great. And then in a few weeks, we were back down there. And this is why this time you got to sort of be very careful. And what Faju is saying is take a deep breath. You don't have to throw everything in a one big hero trade. You're going to have plenty of time to buy this wipeout and capitulation. Now, here is that if you're not following, I highly recommend that you do. This is somebody whose advice on market structure I take very seriously. This is Jackus. I refer to him a lot. I quote tweeted him. I talked about him in our private group. And basically, here's what Jackus said. And in fact, Jackus had sent a DM in another group I'm in to basically liquidate ETH at 3,000. Like he basically sold before all this went down. He sent out a message, you know what I mean? A lot of people were saved because they sort of fall twice. So here he's like, I literally rode this market bottom to the current top on nearly all major coins. And now some people are saying I'm late to being bearish. No, like the thing is, once again, he's responding to people who are coming out and they just don't like it because if he's saying this and you truly believe it, it means your tokens are going to go down. It's the same reason why when people call out scammers, if you're in that token, you're like, no, they're not scammers, and you defend them because your bags are going to get hurt. But there's a way to protect your bags, right? Here's what he talks about. He plays on different time frames, people do, and he has a personal strategy. He never sells the exact top and never buys the exact bottom. People who say that will not show you how literally they were trying to do it for the past 2 years every single month, right? Make no mistakes, Bull do the same thing. Although they are at least more right given the inflationary nature of markets, right? So this is where I was getting that from. I try to be somewhat in the middle, in the right balance, try to squeeze the meat of the move, giving the market enough room to move, but understanding things have changed. So he was prior to last week and remained bullish as long as the data and the strategy was telling him it was good to do so. Vocal about invalidations, which I can vouch he was doing that. and he still stands behind the fact it's a good thing, right? This is where the cycle deviated from past ones. And to me, once hit, I was immediately out, escaping further minus 20 to 30% drops the next day, but squeezing the most of the upside we got over the past 2 years. It was a shy 20% from the top, but still 175% higher from the claim. I personally think we are bullish into 25, but locally the trend has shifted for me. I have to respect that despite the outcome most of us wanted to see. I'm ready to get bulled up again the moment I see some major price reclaims, and this turning out to be one of the largest manipulations of the moment we hit new high time frame support liquidity, which we currently lack. So from his perspective, he understands the market might view it in a different way, but that's what makes the market. You can have so many different outcomes. It's all possible. And he's not going to get everything right? So he's trying to be honest and transparent. What he's saying here is basically there's a lot of things to happen. So he's showing this is like what he saw, right? So this is what the timeline looks like. If you look in black, it was crypto Twitter, blue is him. So the BNB chart, they were talking about, FTT2, right? So this is related to the FTX. He's like, yeah, BNB is going to be single digits. And he's like, wait, there's a deviation until proven otherwise. Strong reclaim. Market was in, so we got in. This crypto Twitter is saying, nope, biggest bull track. They won't trap me. That's the escape pump, sell everything. And then he's saying at the top over here, and he has tweets to receipts for this, right? Trap is being set, taking 90% of profits. Christian Twitter, big breakouts incoming on this blow off top. Boom, we see this down. I remember over here, this is literally where he recommended people selling. I didn't listen to him. I listened to some of his other peers and some of my other peers as well. And obviously we know what happened in July, August, right? This massive drawdown, not just in BNB, but Sol, ETH, whatever. Then he said August capitulation, max fear 3 tap, he rebuys, boom. And he basically was saying the exact same thing. And now he said invalidation's been hit, I'm out. Then we see the big candle come right after. So my point in showing you all this is you literally can't just listen to people and be blind and just hey, what works best for me? Don't ask that question. Ask what makes sense, and also look at people's credentials and do you trust what he's saying about the structure? So you really, really have to be aware. A lot of people will not tell you to sell. They may be selling, but let me tell you something. If they tell you to sell, they're not gonna get a good price on their bag. So they want you in the market. They'll only tell you after, right? So let me show you what I'm doing with Ethereum. Here's an example. I don't know if I showed it on the AMA a couple days ago, but basically, this is not an updated chart, it's a screenshot, but basically, this is what I shared in the Web3 Secret Society. We had the red candle. We chopped sideways since, but basically, there are a couple options. Number one, I expected us to sort of test back at this range, which we have, right? We've tested this red box at this point. It's on the graph, the weekly, but you would see it basically because we went to 2,900 at one point. Then I expect us to chop until we go to 21. Now, can it not do this? Yeah, for sure. It can go halfway and then go up. Like I said, I can't see the future. If I did, I wouldn't be in crypto. I'd be buying little lottery tickets, right? But basically, based on what we saw here, we expect just how we saw all the other liquidations as well to come to 2,100 as support. It's not a very strong support, which is why worst case scenario we could see downside up to 1,600. So that's why I have been selling a bunch of Ethereum across wallets, trying to protect myself. And in the case that it was a scam liquidation and we came the 3,200, 3,100 range, what's going to happen? It will go up and then come back to retest. And then I will jump in on the retest and then ride it up. It's only a couple $100 per ETH that I'm missing out because remember, I'm still bullish long-term, okay? Couple more things I want to talk about, market updates here. I figured I would just do all of this today. Number one, I thought this was a very good post by Wizard of Soho. So he's talking about what's changed, pump fund. So before pump fund, you had dev, you had to have solid funds. If you're on Ethereum, you had to spend at least $5,000 to $6,000 to deploy a contract. And if it was peak bull market, it was like 20 to 30K. You needed a marketing team because you had to spend money and you didn't want it to fail, and you had whales ready to buy. So you had a lot of things sorted out. You couldn't just sort of have somebody buy $20 at launch and they're up $1 million and full stack it while 99% lose money. This is what it was before. And back then it was really, player versus environment versus player, which it is right now. Before, meme coins were basically big business launches. Sniping was also very expensive, so you couldn't really do it effectively. You had to have millions of dollars worth, even, or some insane setup to snipe anything. If you were launching a token, you legit had 200 to 300,000 behind the launch to build charts to give it a solid chance. Exchanges, and those exchanges potentially listed. If you bought a token even after a few days, you had a shot of hitting, because coins lasted weeks and months. That's why tokens like Shiba actually flipped Doge at one point, right? There wasn't that many devs, so any dev actually rugged or didn't give it a real shot, everyone knew and would literally never ape their launches again, and they were fully done. There was massive income or incentive and push for the devs to make the token successful. Now any idiot can launch a token with zero infrastructure for $10, and the average survival time of tokens is few hours max. You definitely can't leave a token you bought overnight, basically a money transfer of meme coin markets to pump fund team. This is why if you are a scammer or rugger, this is the golden bull for you. Rugging and scamming is making people millions, not building. Completely agree. This is why I don't like pump fund. Speaking of potential scams and everything, I want you guys to also see this, which is something I commented on earlier this week on Pain. I was super against this, but they've sort of done something that I think is actually pretty brilliant. So it was sort of like this, we just had the liquidation, and they're like, yeah, here's our wallet. Just send us a bunch of funds. Yeah, they're associated with meme land and whatever, right? But they were raising 186,000 SOL basically in 48 hours, right? More than any other meme coins pre-sales in USD. But guess what? They came back and said, hey, we don't need that much. So this announcement has really made waves because it's the official meme coin of the OG meme legend Hide the Pain Herald, right? That's an old man. It's intended to function as an expression of pain on the blockchain, not to add more pain to your already bleeding portfolio. So they're going to do a refund. They're returning 80% of the funds they received. What does that remind you of? Well, this is an oversubscribed model, right? So basically, even though it was 186, let's just say almost like 200,000, right? They are returning 80%, so 160K, which means you have already shown how much demand exists for the token. So there's actually a big chance that on launch, this token does way better than it would have otherwise, right? Because you have 5x the demand than is actually getting the token. So pretty cool. Obviously, there's always a lot of risk sending it to wallets. This is sort of why I don't like doing it, and I faded it. So if you got in and think, congrats. Let me tell you something. There's a flash in the pan. This won't typically be the outcome of most of these pre-sales. I don't have to remind you about, what the hell's that guy's name? Not Jim, but BitBoy, like Eric, right? So yeah, Eric. Another update as well. We talk a lot about DeFi on this channel and how to sort of make money sort of using lend borrow strategies. I always remind you guys not to use ones that are not big. And example with Ionic, they did something on mode and basically lost a bunch of funds. So, they had something with some social engineering, allowed hackers to borrow funds to supply liquidity on the mode deployment. So people are not happy, obviously, right? Like people are very unhappy with them, and mode's not doing very well anyways, but like this is just reminds me of the Polter exploit as well. Just to let you know, that happened 3 months ago and nobody's gotten any funds back, and the team's just like pretty much given up at this point. So, you got to be very careful. They will never, ever warn you about this stuff. People will tell you to use this stupid protocol, and then you'll get screwed, and then they'll tell you, you should have DYOR'd, bro. That's all they say. Now, to airdrops, big update, BERA chain. Now, BERA chain, you guys know I made a couple videos on this last year. Something that I was starting to farm on their testnet. They basically put the checker out earlier today, and you can claim it as early as tomorrow using your EVM wallets. And there's the tokenomics available. So, just go to the website. My recommendation is you check your wallet address, you check any socials. I'll tell you right now, I didn't qualify because I didn't do enough on the testnet. And ironically, because the socials they are checking are not YouTube, right? So there's somebody I know did like one post and they got 700 tokens for making a post on Twitter. And you could have even made a post fudding BERA chain, but this was way before when I wasn't posting that much on Twitter, which is why I've moved to do this, right? And if you're wondering, like, just take a look at the price. The price of BERA chain, the lowest currently is 7.49. They're only buying 61 tokens right now, but still, like, at $7, you can buy 400, for example. So it's pretty good. Like there's actually some, decent amount of sales here. We'll be surprised to see this token hold its value because once again, like why would BERA chain hold the token value that much? We've seen this happen with time and time again. There's nothing that innovative about the chain. I know some people like it because they have the NFTs, but I don't think it's that big, right? So I've included the tokenomics here as well. So, right, the total supply at the Genesis is, 500 mil with a 10% inflation schedule, right? You have initial core contributors getting 16.8% and investors getting 34.3%. The airdrop is 79 million tokens, which makes up about 16%. And of course, the airdrop overview here, you can see there were a bunch of different things. So testnet users, if you use the RTO or BRTO testnet, you got 8.25 million. I'm not even gonna try to fight for my allocation because I know some people did 200 transactions, got a fraction of a BERA token, so really not worth it. If you did a request for proposal or you deposited capital in Bitcoin, which I should have done, that was the one thing I regret not doing that. Social airdrop, users who posted constructive commentary about BERA chain on X or engage in discussion on the BERA chain or Bong Bear's NFT discords, right? Unfortunately, I just worked on getting a stupid role in their Discord, so didn't get anything for that. Binance hodlers airdrop, right? And then ecosystem NFT. So this one is actually, I think, sort of really hard one. Obviously, Bong Bear NFTs in their basement. So one of the, you can go through this after and sort of see how you did. Let me be honest with you. I did all these things, right, that they're talking about, but I guess, I probably didn't do enough of it or whatever it may be. So be it. I always thought the NFTs were very expensive and I didn't think they were worth it, right? When I was looking into it, the time I was making these videos, the NFTs were worth 4 to 5 ETH each. So if you got it early, fantastic. Maybe if you bought it on the dip, but honestly, when everything was going down, I would have rather bought a Pudgy Penguin, right? For I think it was 6 ETH or something versus one of these at 2.5. So, it is what it is. Another update for you guys is on Mega ETH. So this is actually a chain I'm very bullish on. Not too bullish on their NFT sort of thing. I understand there's a lot of demand for it. They basically put up 10,000 soulbound NFTs, which will get a token allocation. Basically, what they want to do is incentivize people to use the chain more and more frequently. So what's going to happen is your vesting actually changes based on your use, which, pretty neat, pretty interesting, right? Each NFT will be minted for 1 Ethereum, which is expensive. But once again, once you look at it from a token allocation, which is at least 5%, so it can go up. Obviously, you never know what they're actually going to give. Likely 5% because that's what they said. I personally don't like the fact that it's soulbound. I've heard some really good examples by Kate XBT on, for example, yes, you cannot move it if your wallet gets hacked or you want to move the wallet anyways. I don't like the fact that you can't resell it because, why not? For those of you who do have an allocation and you sort of, you don't want to pay the 1 ETH for it, you can delegate. So you can go in and you can sell your delegation, whether it's, the whitelist, the true whitelist, or a guaranteed versus a first come, first serve. Obviously different prices. Squiggly Hair basically says he's buying any guaranteed whitelist for 3 Ethereum. It's a guaranteed instant 3x, please DM. One thing you should know, by the way, is the guaranteed whitelist will get their NFT, but the non-guaranteed, the first comes, first serve, there's not many NFTs available, and there's supposed to be a massive gas war. So I think a lot of people are speculating on the FDV of Mega ETH to be a couple $billion, right? So, at 10 billion, you would 20x on the NFT, which, like I said, at $500 million, which is where I thought it would come to, you probably get be even. So remember, if you do have your whitelist, you have to load up your wallet with an extra bunch of gas for the gas war. It will be minted out in 1 minute. There's no doubt. So anybody who is actually on first come, first serve, and you want to do this, keep in mind, do not use Rabby Wallet if you're doing it. The reason you should never use Rabby Wallet for a mint is Rabby Wallet will always do a test transaction first, see if it comes back, and then allows you to submit. Just because it basically simulates it, right? You cannot afford those precious few seconds, maybe 10 seconds even when you're doing this. I always go on a burner, go on MetaMask and set up the gas to be very high and do it if you want to get it on mints. So it will be interesting if you want to see how you did. And by the way, like what the allocation looks like, you can sort of check out these pages. You know, like I said, I wasn't qualified, but if I was, I would just delegate / sell my allocation. Next update for you guys is on Pengu. So Pengu basically burned, they had 15% that was unclaimed at the time. It ended up being 13.69% after all claims, and they're all burned today as the end of the claims happened. Now, one thing I will say to you guys is I'm a big fan of Pudgy Penguins, not a fan at all of the token. I know it's used to tip on Abstract, and unsurprisingly, because people are like, oh, this is so bullish for Pengu. No, it's only bullish when you burn something that people want. Look at the token. It just continues to drop down further. Let me tell you something. Every single day, I've seen the same post on Twitter. Maybe they're doing it for Yaps. Oh, the bottom is in for Pengu. 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 Like, honestly, one day, hopefully, they're right. I don't think today is that day. I think we continue to come down. The reality is, and this is a big lesson. I know some people liked it because they airdropped everyone, but as somebody who was in the Penguin ecosystem, I'm kind of sitting here like, you gave everybody tokens, so who needs them, right? Like, I just don't see the point of having Pengu token. Yes, its market cap is, $750 million. Guess what? Look at where it started. Don't look where it is, right? Because these things continue to bleed out. Why I hold maybe a few dollars of Pengu just so I can tip on Abstract. I'll explain that in this video though. Another update for you guys is on Corn. So Corn over here is like, they're finally going to do their airdrop soon, Genesis airdrop. So the final stretch. So if you followed my video on sort of BTC infrastructure and everything like that a few months ago, hopefully you get a decent allocation. What's also cool is they are awarding certified yappers, not just the top Yapper leaderboard holders, which is overall leaderboard, not just Corn, but anyone who holds the Kaito Genesis NFT. Guys, I cannot tell you, or I cannot continue to repeat how bullish I am on Kaito. One more thing I want to mention is you should make sure your wallet is added in Kaito if you are signed up, because you will be able to participate in internal and upcoming partner projects. Remember the rewards. Remember one thing. People who did this last time, they were lucky enough to mint fast enough. They were at least invited to mint a Kaito Genesis NFT for 0.1 Ethereum. That NFT ended up peaking at 10 ETH before this entire liquidation cascade. So guys, please, I'm telling you, if there's one you know how I am. I want you guys to do the least amount of work to get the most amount of gains. Kaito is one of those, because and I'm going to sort of talk about it now. The way that we get airdrops now has sufficiently changed. A lot of projects are looking more and more to socials, especially Twitter. Why? They want marketing. TVL, bullshit transactions, they are still a small piece. But TVL obviously, but TVL comes from whales, right? The average person, instead of getting them to do stupid quests, they would rather you go on and talk about their project so other people can see it. This is Kaito, and just building up a social media following matters. Like I said, you got 700 tokens for saying something negative about BERA chain. Like, as long as it's constructive. Like, can you imagine? Like, this is where airdrops are moving. I know some people hate social media, but you hate money too. Guys, Kaito is such a sick opportunity. It doesn't matter. I think building a brand is obviously huge in this digital world, but even beyond that, go out there, add value, put your actual thoughts. Don't just write some gibberish like fire, bro, fire. No, write like, hey, I think this is great because X, or I think this sucks because of Y. And talk about stuff, get rewarded through Kaito Yaps if you're engaging, if you follow the strategies I've outlined. Obviously, look, I'm not a big fish in Kaito, but go up there and build your brand, get some follows on Twitter, and you're going to be surprised at how many more allocations you get. Remember, there are people who I've done like hundreds of transactions, got fractions of a BERA, and you make one post and you get like 700. Like, these are the things, this is the way it's evolving. Right now, I basically hit the 50 Yap amount. Definitely join it if you haven't already. I really think it's worthwhile. I think it's super potential. So here's the sort of update here as well is Bonk. So Bonk Dragon claims will be pushed back to this Friday, February 7th, to ensure the claim experience with the partners goes smoothly. I know some people are happy with it. DD Trading was swearing at them and whatever, but basically, like, maybe it'll give us a tiny bit of money, right? So if you did some of these things, you got the attributes. Hey, Friday, which is in 2 days, you'll be able to claim some of that. Okay. Next update, small update, but definitely a big one. LINEA is finally posted on Whales Market. We've been waiting forever. Like, we know Q1 is the airdrop. I kind of wish they did it when the conditions were better. Maybe they'll do it at the end of February, early March, when I expect conditions to be a lot better. But still, very good. Although there is no real order book because people can't agree on a price. People selling it want at least $5.87 for a LINEA token. People buying it want to buy it for 99 cents. So if you think the LINEA token is going to be a pile, not very good, then you can sell some of these here. Let's see if anyone has sold anything yet. Yeah, no one sold anything yet. Like, you can see, no one's filled anything yet. I mean, very interesting. Another update as well. TGE for iLoop is tomorrow. So if you haven't claimed, make sure you do that. And so not tomorrow, on Friday as well. So the TGE goes up and you'll be able to claim. Also, depending on where you are in the tiering, you can claim your solid airdrop. So for me, I can claim it tomorrow, right? So I can be able to claim, I'm going to be claiming 100% and just dumping. That's just me. Finally, last thing I want to mention to you guys is on Abstract. So I know I said to you guys, I'm not really focused on it. I'm not. But let me tell you something, watching people get money on per chain and Mega ETH and whatever, guys, there is some value to this stuff. Once again, we do the easiest stuff ever. So I go into rewards. Yes, I have a 75% bonus, just by being part of the Discord and whatever. I also got some extra stuff with, the Penguin. But basically, you can get XP just for bridging and making swaps. So like, I made a trade. Like, if I go over here, click on trade, I spent 10 minutes so far in 2 weeks on this, by the way, just to be clear. You can go here, click on this. I traded some like USDC for Pengu. You see, I got like 77 Pengu tokens, right? So you go in here, put $5 in, you can do the trade and you do this once a week. Great. You also go in bridge as well once a week and you'll get XP, right? Like, I got 2,415 so far out of a possible 10, so be it. I've also included jumper. Remember, just make sure the way Abstract works is kind of weird. You have your Privy wallet, so you have the wallet, right? You see this thing over here that you can copy, right? If you send funds to another wallet that's not your Abstract wallet, the money gets lost. So make sure if you don't just like send it to ETH mainnet there, you have to send it to Abstract. So make sure that this is correct. So wherever you're going from to, pick the amount, and then you put your wallet in. Now, a lot of people will, I use Relay. Yeah, great. Relay is the option that pretty much always gets recommended. Do it through Jumper. The reason I say this is, one, it'll always get you the best price. So Symbiosis is recommended right now because you get a little bit more back. But you can go to Relay if you want. You want to continue leveling up your profile. If you do this, you're going to get access to better rewards. So just make sure you use Jumper as your aggregator when possible. Remember, guys, it's about doing things smart, not just doing things for the sake of whatever, okay? So let's just see what's going on quickly. I want to see some comments. I'll spend a little more time tonight on that. BERA rugged me. Guessing another Starknet. I wouldn't call it Starknet. Remember, Starknet was very different. They disqualify people on bullshit criteria. Like, there was a developer who was like super ETH developer, and just because he was there at the beginning, but then wasn't there for like a month, and they're like, sorry. And then they never did anything to fix it. And Bankless said they were going to help, but Bankless just got a massive payout from Starknet and said nothing, because those guys are massive grifters from everything that I've seen. The the thing is, let's be honest here though, a lot of NFTs will unlock airdrops. I don't like NFTs that are just good for one project. That's why I like things like Mad Lad, right? Mad Lads is great. Penguins were great too. Hopefully they pay off more in the future. Yeah. I got like 0.1 BERA tokens, early testnet participant. Yeah, great. Enjoy your 70 cents. That doesn't even buy like a McDonald's cone anymore. 1.2 BERA achieved after many hours. Also have been involved in the mega ETH for some time. No whitelist for a lot of those who have. It's a who's who. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, the market is shifting too. You have to continue to build your brand, evolve. It is so much focus on Twitter. It's not just liquidity anymore. Guys, please open up your Twitter accounts if you haven't already. The GeoBlock USA, no way. I heard ICO Beast was talking about going to Argentina, do a short trip because I think he got like I think he might have got a 10K drop or 10 to 20K drop. So he's like, yo, go to Argentina to grab that. If they did GeoBlock USA, you can get an individual IP, much like I did for Hyperliquid. That's your way around it. That way, like even if the VPN thing doesn't work and they block the VPNs, you go through the privatized IP. So if you go and check my Twitter, look up Hyperliquid, the Brown Gent YT, you'll literally find the thread I made and show you the details. It'll work the exact same way. Let's go. My gut said fade BERA testnet. Yeah, exactly. I remember I made a few videos on it because people asked, and I was just like, I'm not touching this anymore. Forget this nonsense. Hey, NW. Believe to achieve. Hope you're well. BERA is one of my first airdrops. How would I sell if I wanted to? Believe to achieve. My recommendation is you go onto Whales Market, and I would dump my tokens right away. Even at $6.40, I think it's good. Just make sure you click the actual button. So it says sell. That means sell. Buy means buy. Obviously, you could also create your own listing. I don't like that. Just go in and sort of fill somebody else's. In my opinion, it'll cost you less as well, and you don't have to cancel stuff. Remember, I believe this is done on the Ethereum mainnet, so it will cost you some gas. If you are doing this, you can also pick a time when network usage is down. Big money makes even more money. Guys, Leonidas, I'll be honest with you, that's just the reality of this world, right? Like I was at the developer earlier today. If I drop 200,000 US, I could buy 250,000 US. I could buy a 1-bedroom like in this like new development that I could easily flip for like 350 to 400K in about a year and a bit. So I'm actually looking at doing that. So you need to make money to make money. The problem is you don't like the money that they want from BERA chain was like, okay, buy these speculative NFTs. This could easily have gone the other way, right? In fact, people thought that in the summer, right? They're just lucky that this happened. Now, what happens to the token? This could still drop. The NFTs can become worthless. What I'd love to see is doing an analysis on BERA chain a month after launch, because I don't think or even during the launch, is there red candles? Like, is this order book very like limited, and there is really no demand for BERA chain token, right? So we'll see. Andrew Cameron with the Canadian flag, how's it going? I think that's all. You always post that. Fud Zero, good morning, how's it going? Big players like BlackRock, World, Liberty buy OTC and thus ETH order books. Yep, completely agree. Also, I don't know if you saw what happened with Wintermute. The chances of Wintermute CEO going to prison on Poly Market are almost 100%. Like for what they did with the manipulation. Hey, Sports Center, how's it going? Greebot, I love ETH some point. Yeah, I've sold some ETH today for cash. Tomorrow I'll sell some more. If not, we'll go. Yeah, like I said, I still have some exposure. I'm still exposed in everything else. I wanted to sort of isolate. I'm not selling anything else. I'll explain. I saw a comment later. I'm going to answer that. Fan Man, I entered in 2020, wrote him up all the way in 21. All YouTubers were saying super. Yeah, well, I want you to know something. YouTubers are, on average, with the exception of Crypto Cove, I think most of them, and obviously me, I think the majority of them are liars. Why? Because they need you to come back and watch. You wouldn't watch, like, if I tell you that I think this stuff's going to go down, you're not going to watch me. You're going to hate me. Why? Because if you're later to join, you're like, this guy is lying. Everyone else thinks it's going to go up. They have to learn the hard way, which is why, like, I tell you guys, like, very honest and transparent the whole time. Like, not most YouTubers weren't even here in the bear market telling you guys to buy Bitcoin at below 20,000. I was making videos every week. Just, guys, I went on a video for 7 minutes, buy Bitcoin. Why? Blah, 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 blah. So a lot of people will do this. They want views. Your views are money to them. Your views are everything. They try to monetize people. That's why I don't like that, right? This is actually why I got in the game. I'll probably make a post about that sometime. I'm going all in if we see ETH 1600. Yeah. So here's my plan. If I go back to that chart that I showed you, by the way, I'm putting about 75% of my ETH, or I'm buying 75% of the ETH right here, 2100. The last 25% is saving for this. That's sort of my plan. Okay. We'll buy a bunch of validator NFTs and hopefully get the ASC. Yeah. So here's the thing, what I'll say, Jermaine, and I would recommend, by the way, before you do any of that, go into their various discords for Eclipse. So there's a validator NFT discord and the ASC club, or the after school club NFT. The ASC club NFT discord is way more community focused. Like Alucard, who's like the community manager for Eclipse, is the one who started it. They're considered the Genesis NFT, even though Validators was minted first. I minted 2 validators. I minted them. I didn't even mint the ASC. I faded that and I bought them after. So just be very, very careful. So I personally would just, look at that before you sort of just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Fanman, I'll learn my lesson. We'll sell all the cycle and I'll listen to YouTubers, present company excluded. Okay, perfect. I thought I read this wrong, but okay, cool. And by the way, like, look, at the end of the day, we give you information. Nothing is financial advice. You got to make your own decision, right? That's the reality at the end of the day. Because if you make money, I don't come to you and go, oh my God, you owe me money because you made money off me. In the same way, if you lose money, you can't blame other people. You wanna go on a fact-finding mission, get as much info as possible, and then you make the decision. And then, hey, hopefully, because it's a game of probabilities, you've made more right decisions than wrong ones at the end. But high quality information is important. It's also important to get varying perspectives, right? This will help you if you keep an open mind. That's why I'm open to hearing people's takes. I'm not open to hearing people's takes on X is going to happen because, bro, that's what's going to happen, bro. Like, I don't listen to that nonsense. Those people end up broke. You know what I mean? Listen to people who give you analysis and then make your own decision. Mike Bennett, hey, TBG, coming Hyperliquid, mostly trading per BTC. Volume is 5 million so far. I staked 10 hype with Nansen. Yeah, I would get that. I would get the hype staking up a bit. So, Mike, here's what I'm going to tell you. I think hype has a massive shot, at least between this and next cycle, to become the next BNB on chain, right? With the hyper EVM and everything. I personally I'm accumulating hype every time it dips. And then basically, I think on one wallet, I have 400 hype staked. On another wallet, I have like 2,000 hype staked. And then the rest I have another wallet. My wallet with like 2,000 staked. I got like a couple thousand unstaked as well. Split up your hype if you have more than like 10, obviously, with multiple validators as well, just to, like qualify for some other airdrops and stuff. The Nansen validator is very good though. Yeah. But mostly trading per BTC is good. So that's fantastic. There is something, I don't remember offhand, but Kate XBT, I would on Twitter, she posted something recently about how you can get even more for the Hyperliquid airdrop. I forget what it was, but I remember I was going to look into it, but I would recommend looking into that. Got 0.017. Like, that doesn't even pay for your gas. Like you're going to pay more to claim it. That's horrible. Love your videos, honest with sprinkle comedy. Appreciate you, DH. There is no Boyko airdrop. Yeah. No. I know, but like, did that, right? They locked up liquidity. So, BERA chain is absolutely different. POL with an entirely different flywheel for rewards across the ecosystem. Like I said, guys, at the end of the day, there's a million opportunities in crypto, right? You can't do every one of them. So like, if you did miss out on something like this, you should not like feel like bad, because like you're not gonna hit the green mark on everything. A lot of people on Twitter will say they hit everything because they want to be seen as the expert. But the reality is, most people, I say the majority of people, it's not happening. You just can't. That's why I'd say Kaito is probably your best bet, because why? It's going to start qualifying for more and more and more stuff. So even if you don't touch the project, Kaito stuff will get you it. And like for Mega ETH, I voted I think I put like about 2,000 votes or something, maybe even more than that for their launch pad. So let's see. Aussie. Hey, Stefan, how's it going? Opinions on validator NFT. I'm too poor for ASC. Here's my thing. I would rather you save it for an ASC than Gaia validators. That's just my opinion. Like, you're better off just farming the how's that thing called? Turbo Tap or whatever, and I think Eclipse will cook, right? Eclipse was, if you guys remember my ranking video, I had Eclipse at the top as a god tier or S+1 or whatever, S plus. I think AFC is the best one, and I personally, validators might get something. I don't know, and I think if once that airdrop happens, I think validators goes to 0. I don't think the same thing happens for ASC. That's just my opinion. Obviously, could be wrong. Mega ETH NFT is just pretty solid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. That's what I said, right? Here's the problem, though. You want to be able to flip that. Like, why is it soul bound? I don't understand that. Why is the NFT soul bound? Like, I can understand, like, the NFT thing if you didn't make it soul bound, but it's stupid to make it soul bound. That was my commentary, right? I don't care about the price. A lot of people who are stupid are complaining about, oh my God, it's 1 ETH, blah, blah, blah. No, if you look at it from an IDO, an ICO perspective, not a problem, right? You're speculating that this is your break-even point, right? But it's, why is it soul bound? I don't understand that. Penga Luna Classic. Yeah, Penga sucks. Penga sucks. It sucks to say that because I'm a big Pudgy Penguins fan. I love my Pudgy Penguin, but I don't like Pengu. By the way, I have a whitelist even though I've never done. Yeah, there's a couple things. Definitely try to resell. Yeah. And if you've got if you've got the guaranteed, definitely sell for 3, or if you can get more, definitely do that. Mega ETH is one of those few base rollups designed to make ETH L2 secure and decentralized on par with mainnet. 100%. Guys, if you looked at my Twitter, I literally said Mega ETH on things I'm excited about. That was the big one, right? Like, not excited about abstract, not excited about monad, right? Like, there's a lot of these things that kind of like, that one's great, and then Nisha is great, right? Am I selling ETH beta? No. So here's why. I understand why you think that, right? So I think Pepe is very strong. Pepe has showed up to be much stronger than ETH, and here's the way I look at it too. This can go both ways, right? So I don't want to sell both of my assets here, and I picked one, ETH or Pepe, and ETH just has a way more structured chart for me to follow, right? I don't want to if I sell Pepe, for example, the chart structure is way off. And now I know some people have done that, but the people who I talk to as well, they're doing a very similar approach as well, which is, all right, we know what the ETH validation level was. We broke. Now we know what the liquidation wick is. Let's go back to that one. And then here's the next level of support. Pepe is a much smaller market cap token, so it's going to be way more fluctuating. Pepe does tend to follow, but there's times that Pepe has not traded the exact same way. So this is sort of the why I'm looking at it this way. My holding Harmony 1, like $10 because I can't sell it. That's correct. You cannot sell it. That's why it sucks. Like, I wish you could sell it. I wish you could flip it. I wish there was demand. I wish you could, there will be demand. I wish you could flip it. Like, this is why this whole idea of delegation is happening, right? Got 541. What? Kumar, how? Like, did you spend your whole life on it? Like, what's going on? Wood what? Okay. I'm not able to sign up for Yaps. You probably need to have at least one smart follower. So Zero, before you sign up, you need to have a Twitter presence. Zero BERA so far looks like 200 tests. Yeah, so I was something very similar to that. I was doing I did all their quests, man. That's what it is. Would BERA be on a DEX where I can convert to USDC? And which DEX is best to convert tokens? I don't know. I imagine it will be on BERA chain. But like I said, believe to achieve. In every single situation so far, with the exception of 2 projects, it was always better to sell on Whales Market prior. Right? 3 projects. Grass, Hype, and I forget the other one. I would literally just go to the website I linked here. If you don't want to do that and you want to gamble that this is going to go up, hey man, it's on you. That you got to wait for the DEX. You got to wait for all these other things. You lock it in here, you're not rushing. You got 24 hours from the time that the TGE happens to fill this out. Okay? That's my last advice on that. Hey Brendan, BERA chain rug, Index. Boyko rewards come after luck. Yep. But you have to earn it. What's up, Legend? Hey Brooklyn, how's it going? Kaito's not letting me sign up. Yep, I commented on it. What are the requirements? Like I said, you need to have a Twitter presence of sorts. So you need to have at least one smart follower, I believe. So that's why you need to go out there and build your brand. But I think Kaito is a massive cook. 0.06 BERA. Wow, it just keeps going down and down, eh? Pepe down almost 50% in a month. So I think, yeah, I think so too. But like I said, I'm waiting for the ETH hammer to drop. I haven't bought any. I mean, it's funny. I bought Pepe like at 0.x whatever 1.3 or whatever like a week ago. I haven't touched it since. I expect it to go down a tiny bit more, but no idea what the damage will be. But that's nice because, like, once again, look, you zoom out. Let's look a couple months later. It's whatever. Do I think LINEA will be profitable? I do think so. Profitable, I don't know if that's the right answer. I think it'll be a cook if you got a decent amount of stats. They might do a teardrop. I think it will piss people off because some people have less LXP, and if they said, "Hey, anyone less than 1,000 LXP gets nothing," it'd be nice for bigger accounts, but people will be pissed, right? So, don't know. Check out Rise Chain. Yeah, problem is there's like a million. There's a million roll up layer 2s coming. So, I personally would say no. There's just too many things to distract. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to if I had time, but just don't. And for people who keep asking me to follow, like, I just can't. The reality is, like, I have to unfollow other projects just so I keep my feed clean. I have to make sure it's completely clean. So it is what it is. Am I cashing in on whales for LINEA? No, I ain't touching that yet. Because right now, and here's why I'm going to say this, it's very different from BERA chain. The BERA chain order book's good. The LINEA order book is like so different. Like, there's a huge disagreement from buyers and sellers here, and we haven't seen any price action. I won't be the first one. So let's wait and see what this looks like. Likely they'll wait to see what token allocations look like before we actually see like a real development over here, right? Because if for example we see 5,000 LXP or whatever ends up being like 10 tokens, well then the tokens will be worth a lot more, right? So I wouldn't touch it yet. That's just me though. Okay. You think B? No, I don't think so at all. B like delay or whatever. Don't worry about that. Like, I think rugging is a very strong term, so I don't use that term unless actual rugs happen. You understand what I'm saying? I have some hype and Hyperliquid. It's not a focus of mine. Is it worth holding there? Yeah. I mean, listen. Do you? I believe in hype, Mark. I know you love base stuff. I think hype is like one of the biggest cooks that we have access to. And I mean, the token showed up so much strength during the liquidations, right? Like, I think it went up when everything else was going down. It was absurd, right? Like, or went down slightly, but it was like green like 30 minutes later. Like, it was absolutely absurd, like up 7%. So I like Hyperliquid. I like the token. I'm gonna continue holding on to it. I continue to accumulate. Okay. Did the token TG for solid happen yet? I believe so. You can claim it if you're in tier 1. You can claim it already. Tier 2 starts tomorrow. So, thank you for the amazing knowledge, bro. Keep updating. 100%, guys. Like I said, I'm here to make sure you guys are successful. Trying to give you as much alpha as possible. Obviously, there's going to be some idiot in the comments who complains that this video is 60 minutes and they didn't bother watching it first. But it is what it is. Kinto dropping soon. Super low supply. Yeah. Kinto, it kind of refreshes my memory. There's something about it. Anyways, I'm probably going to I answered a bunch of questions, so we'll call this and ask me anything in the thing so people don't complain after. But guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm going to be on much more. Make sure you like the video, share the video, follow me, whether it's on Twitter or on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a good night.